Welcome to the TDWG podcast. My name's Paul Davidson.
And I am Scott Norman, and today we have a special guest, Miss Marsha Campbell. I thought you were going to introduce yourself for a second, then you didn't, so then I just jumped.
Yes, the lady that puts the C in facts. Miss Marsha Campbell is here to join us on the podcast. Say hello to the people.
Hello, people.
There we go.
I'm trying to catch up with puts the C in facts.
Consumer. But her name's Campbell.
Oh, okay. Family and consumer science. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm still, moving on. So.
Anyway, yes, welcome to the show. This is our standard kind of just interview. At one point in time, we wanted to be the podcast of record for Porterville High School, and then COVID hit, and so we haven't been able to interview all the new hires like we've had in the past.
Yes.
But now we finally got you on, so we just want to kind of know what brought you here to Porterville. So let's start off just in general. How'd you become a teacher? So why'd you become a teacher?
Oh, when my kids were real small, I was asked, why don't you go get your teaching degree and come and teach for us at New Madrid County?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, there is no way, I'm not going to go babysit. But as my kids got older, I started substituting. I just wanted to be involved. I worked with all the games that they were in and stuff. And I decided that I liked being around kids. It was more than just babysitting, and I like that wow factor when they get something. So
we talk about that a lot, actually.
I wrote an entire essay about that here recently for the seniors.
And when the superintendent come to me the second time, this was in 2003, the business teacher, Miss Spittler, was retiring and asked me if I'd be interested, and I said yes, I would, and that's when I started.
So you were a business teacher first?
Yes.
Huh.
Were you business the whole time you were at New Madrid, or did you transition? So you made the switch here.
Yes.
Okay.
I was a business teacher for 13 years at New Madrid County Central High School.
So you've covered all the Fs, the FBLA and the FCCLA.
Yes. And Noranda closed. My husband got recruited to aluminum plant in Virginia, and so I taught personal finance in Virginia for 5 years.
All right, just out of curiosity, I know whenever Noranda closed, because my mother taught at Central, she was at Wilburn specifically at their elementary school. I know that a lot of teachers, they offered like packages to leave whenever Central closed. Were you one of the people that got looped into that?
No, I didn't get a package. And I had I don't know how many days of sick leave I had, and I lost a bunch of days. It was the hardest part about leaving.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, what year was that again? That was
2016.
2016. Okay, because I remember that happened right after I started working here, and there was all kinds of stuff because they were having to axe teachers at New Madrid. So you went up to Virginia, which is a great place to be in high school. I'm just throwing that out there. That's where I graduated, was in Virginia.
Yes, he went to the Garfield Academy for Young Gentle Boys. Boo, yay, lasagna, boo Mondays.
Oh, gosh. Garber Manderfield Preparatory Academy, which is not actually what we were called, but it's what we put on our shirts when we played the snotty schools. So where did you teach in Virginia?
In
Emporia, Virginia, right on the North Carolina border.
So Southern Virginia.
Yes, down by Mr.
Real
Beast.
Virginia. Real Virginia. Not the fake Virginia. Not the Nova that you say is not technically Virginia.
Yes, no, absolutely. People that you knew there who had grown up there absolutely would have said that I was not in real Virginia, because I was up at Nova, Northern Virginia, where we're just bedroom communities for D.C. We don't, the politics are very different in those two places, but we got to play the T.C. Williams Titans. So. But
you were still playing. All right, but back to Miss Marsha. You were still teaching business in Virginia, correct?
Yes, but personal finance. Yes.
Personal finance. So what was it like adjusting from Missouri to Virginia?
Virginia was very nice. Just the location. I really liked the area, but the school was a culture shock. I even come from a county school at New Madrid County Central, but just going to where Greensville County High School, I quit every single day on my way home. I drove 50 minutes to work and 50 minutes back, and I quit every single day. But the second year and the third and fourth and fifth were just fine. But it just...
So it took a while to get used to it, basically. So what, if you don't mind me asking, like, what was the cultural difference? Like, are just bigger classes, different, like... How different was it from?
Well, I went from like a 400 to an 800 student population school, and that first year the kids were just mean. And I mean, I had 13 years experience, and it's just like, I don't know if they just had to get used to me. They were just seeing if they could run me off. I don't know what it was. And, you know, they talked about gangs and stuff like that. You know, we laughed about them thinking they were a gang member, you know, in Nevada County Central at that time. But there they actually had gangs. They actually had killings, and, you know, and it's just not at the school. Not at the school, but just the town in general.
So this was a much more urban school district compared to the rural school district that you had been working at.
Yes, it was a bigger town, bigger whatever, but it was still a community college out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, so
I'm not
still
a college, but a community high school out in the middle of nowhere.
Still a lot of rural connection there then.
Yes.
Because I was going to say, actually, your description sounds a lot like the high school that I went to up in Northern Virginia, and I didn't expect that. Because, like, we had stabbings in the school all the time. But the connection you're just saying is this was all happening outside and around the school, basically, and you're hearing about it in the school, or you're seeing repercussions from it in the school?
No, there were more fights. There were more, you know, some of the kids it would happen outside of the school. There wasn't a whole lot of stabbings or shootings or whatever in the school. There wasn't anything like that, but just out in the kids come in and they were involved in some of the stuff out there. Yeah.
But you said year after year it got a little bit better. So what was the thing that finally convinced you to come back here to Missouri?
It was always about my family and my grandkids. And I probably made a mistake because when I went, I said, I'm going to stay 5 years. I'm going to get vested. I'm going to draw a little bit of Virginia retirement.
Oh, you're going to double dip.
and so I stayed the 5 years, but I probably would have been better off just to come back sooner and build up my Missouri retirement a little better.
So that's always the thing. Like, I always hear like people up north when I go up to visit my wife's family, they complain like, "Oh, teachers, they get to double dip. They'll retire and then they'll go work somewhere else and pull a pension and get a double paycheck." But you know, that's one of the perks.
Yeah. Well, one of the few things where you can look at teacher finances and go, that's an improvement. Yeah. So I am curious, going back a little bit then, before you got into teaching, what did you do? Were you stay-at-home mom? Did you do another business? Like, what were you doing?
Oh, I am just a jack of all trades. Was.
Oh no, trust me, this is the most interesting.
Yeah, this is where this is the interesting stuff. So.
Well, on the way to school today, I was jotting down from my first job all the way to here, just to kind of remember. But my first job was hooking beans, chopping cotton for the family farm. But then let's move on up to I was an insurance agent.
Okay. Which provider?
Well, it was countywide insurance out of Dexter and Bernie and wherever else they are now. And I started out. I had a satellite office of my own in Parma, and then they needed someone.
Back when there were still things in Parma.
Right. Well, no, there still wasn't anything in there, but there's still farmers all around and stuff like that. And then they needed somebody in the office at Bernie, so I went there, and that's where I got the call to asked if I wanted to teach. So I was probably only at the Bernie office for like a year or a little over a year. But I was a bus driver at Nevada County Central. I was a vehicle inspector for one of our businesses.
Do they know that you were a bus driver here?
They do.
Okay, I was about to say, you almost outed yourself there.
Yes, and I told them, no, I don't do that. Matter of fact, when I went to Virginia and swapped my license to a Virginia license, I said, take the bus driver endorsement off. I'm not driving here in Virginia. And then when I come back here, I'm just not interested in taking the test. But we've been a business owner there in Parma. We had Miller's General Merchandise Store. I don't know if people go through Parma, they see a closed down store with a car wash beside it. That used to be ours, and then we sold it, and then they sold it, and then they closed. And then later on, we have where Vanny's is in Parma. We had that for a while. That used to be a Church of Christ, and when it closed down, my dad fixed it up. I was a stay-at-home mom for very little. I was a clerical typist for family services for the social work department.
Okay.
So
Wait,
Wow.
okay.
So list.
Okay, so you had the family farm first, and then you worked insurance next, or were you the? Where did the? Where
It all
did the
just kind of
clerical-
it's all happening at once.
no. Family farm was like middle school, high school. That's when I was
Yeah.
out hooking
Okay.
the beans and the cotton, and then chopping cotton. And then when I got married, I worked at a gin where I weighed trucks and cotton and all that stuff. Then I worked for family services.
Which gin did you work for?
It was at Risco.
Okay.
At Risco, EVG gin. I went to college from 80 through 83, and then I quit and
What was your intended major?
MRS.
Okay.
No, it really wasn't. It
I'm gonna say,
really-
depending on which school you went to.
So you got the degree then. I mean, that's
No, it really wasn't. I really, really enjoy clerical work, but I knew that wouldn't pay me the amount of money that I wanted to do, a typist and all that stuff. But I knew that wouldn't make me happy, so I just went into business, and I got after I got married, had my kids, I went back and done like the 10-year plan, and I got my bachelor's in management,
Okay.
bachelor's of science in management.
do we have to explain to the students what an MRS degree is?
Probably, but no, we're not.
Okay,
we're not
let's just
going
move on.
to.
All right.
Just ask any of your friends that intend on going to Ole Miss. That's what most of the girls that go to Ole Miss try to get.
Wow,
yes,
that
I'm
was
throwing
a-
shade
that
at
was
you,
a shade.
Shelly Priggle. I am specifically throwing shade at you. It's okay. She's my sister.
Yeah, and it's, for context for those who know.
Although she did not marry for someone from Ole Miss. That's the funny thing.
Oh yeah, that hurts your argument there. But all right, so you have you are at least very close to our current leader.
I think Chrissy had the most widespread amount of
Yes.
crazy jobs that she's done.
Yes, Chrissy was the one where we kept trying to move on to other parts of the interview, and then all of a sudden a new job that she had worked would pop up. And so this is, I feel like this is going to happen as we talk about other things. You're going to be like, that's like this other job I worked over here. So bringing that back around to the education part, that absolutely does qualify you, though, for teaching things like personal finance and business, because you've seen all of it. If a kid's like, well, you don't understand.
And it makes more sense now that she had the experience to become a business teacher
Yes.
in that particular arena. Which now brings us to, how'd you become a fax teacher?
Well, when I left New Madrid County Central, our principal, B.J. Stone, was working there, and I was his mentor actually for a while, and I asked
The teacher has become the master. The student
Yes,
has become
yes,
the master.
Yes. Anyway, I told him when I left, I said, when I come back, you're going to be a principal somewhere, and I'm going to need a job. And so when we decided to come home, I called him, and I had to interview with Mr. Berry, and
So really,
and I had to go take a test.
so
you were
basically-
able to twist his arm
So
to get
basically,
the job.
it was,
That's
you were
the-
like, I will teach anything. I just need a job.
No. I probably could have found a job anywhere, but this sounded interesting. I taught business and personal finance, and I thought, let's just do a change. It's not called home ec anymore, and lots of people get really offended that our fax teachers that when it is. But I remember I actually had home ec years and years ago, where we did place settings and everything like that, and we sewed and we just did everything. And so I thought, man, I can do all that. I've done it all my life. I think that would be fun. And so then I found out I needed to get certified, so I went and took the test and became certified to be able to get this
I
job.
was saying, I'm sure
Voila.
owned the test. So I am curious. I'm just a little curious as far. We like spurring controversy on here. You said people get offended when you call it home ec, or offended?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there is an element within fax teachers that calling it home ec belittles it a little bit. I don't remember when they made the change. Like, it's always been fax since I was in high school, but I do remember at other districts that I have worked at, anytime you mention it as the home ec class, the fax teacher would get highly upset.
Huh. Because that's usually when I like. Okay, I have to be careful how I say this, but whenever I'm talking to my mother or people like that, I always have to change what it's called to home ec because that's what she knows it as. Like, and so I never knew that it was changed because it was offending people. I just thought that it was like people, they like changing the names of stuff. So anyway,
No,
I'm sorry.
it wasn't changed because it was offending people, but because it encompasses so much more than just home ec.
I see.
But a lot of people thinks we're demeaning it because we're calling it just home ec.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's just one piece of the bigger
Yes.
family and consumer science
Yes.
pie.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's kind of like whenever you get upset when people say that you're just a government teacher.
Yeah, I don't though. I love government. I would rather like just government. I'm okay with that. Everything I teach is government because people are government.
I've always heard
You've always heard what?
about history teachers. No, I'm just
Oh, I was gonna say. I was like, wait, what have you heard? What did I do?
no. My brother is a history, government,
Okay.
sociology, whatever.
There you
teacher
go.
Also in St. Louis. So.
Okay.
Does he get offended when you call him a government teacher?
No.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought. Government is like the I feel like the peak.
I was trying to make an apples to oranges comparison.
Yeah,
Oh, well.
an intentional butchery of the yeah.
So, what's the biggest difference from switching to business to facts? Like, what's the biggest thing that you've noticed is the difference between the two?
Facts is more fun.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Hot take.
Shots fired to the rooms next to us.
Yeah, we're in between the two business rooms.
It's not easier. It's just more fun.
And I'll give you this, like, ever since you have taken it over, and not to throw any shade at our former facts teachers, but you do seem to have, like, enlivened, like, the facts room. Like, you see, there seems to be, the students seem to be a lot more
participation.
excited about taking
Yeah.
your classes, and there is, I'm seeing a lot more of their projects out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
You're making them cook, you're making them sew. Like, they're actually... Like, it's actual legitimate hands-on learning, and I at least I for one applaud you for being able to do that.
Absolutely. I also applaud you because we share a prep hour and I get to eat the stuff that they cook. So I very much appreciate it. It's always quite tasty because I'll just be walking down the hallway and Marsha just goes, hey, we've got some fill-in-the-blank tasty snack. And I'm like, I'm in. Let's go.
Speaking of getting the students involved, let's now bring out the box.
Yeah, so this is
suggestion
going to
box.
inspire all kinds of things because this is what the students, we tell them they can submit any question as long as it's appropriate. Okay, well, let's get this one out of the way. It says, I love you, Miss Marsha, or Miss Marshy. It says Miss Marshy. Is that someone you know, that person? You know who this is, or they just misspelled your name?
I have no idea.
All right, well, they love you, Miss Marshy. All right.
Nice.
The first legitimate question is someone who is trying to steal your identity. What is your middle name, Miss Marsha?
Louise.
Louise.
There you go, person who is trying to get access to her bank account. This one, there's another one in here somewhere that ties in with this. It says, quote, why do you burn pancakes? I don't know the story, but there must be one.
We've seen multiple of these suggestions in here, so we got to hear the story.
Well, I didn't burn pancakes. They burn them. They were the ones cooking.
It's your fault, students.
I don't know. We were trying out the new griddles, and I don't know. They've left them on there too long. I don't know.
So was this multiple students burned pancakes in the same class hour, or was this several
That
class
was
hours?
just one class, and they got it stuck in their head.
So you know who you are. It's your fault. There's one class, and it's y'all's fault.
But at the end of the day, they were new griddles that y'all were using. Because I've noticed that because I recently moved and I have a new house. And so we have a new stove in our house. And we've been burning a lot of things because we've switched from gas to electric. And we're not used to
that is a difference.
That style of cooking.
Yes. And we were doing pancake art, too. So
Oh, okay.
That could have been a difference,
So they had a little bit too thin of a drizzle they were trying to do on their cue or something.
The second one was trying to be coy about it. It says, have you ever burnt pancakes? But 100%, this is someone else from that class that wants you to talk about that.
All right. The next question is, are you still making 3-ingredient cakes?
Yes.
Could you just walk us and the non-facts people around what is a 3-ingredient cake?
Well, you take angel food cake and cake mix and water, and you mix it together, and it's called cake in a mug.
Cake in a mug.
And so the kids can do that quick.
So it's just that microwavable cake type of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I do have a question that might get me into controversy here as far as someone who knows about baking. Is that really a 3-ingredient cake if it has cake mix?
I don't know. We're only using 3 things. I don't know.
I just asked that because at one point I was researching food and ran across a huge argument that I didn't mean to like run across. That was people saying that's not really.
What's with you and finding arguments out of nowhere?
It's fun. I don't know. They come up around me, but so yeah, there's this whole debate, and I thought maybe you could have some input for us on is cake mix one ingredient or like 15 ingredients?
It's a lot of ingredients.
Okay.
But,
But you're using the one ingredient of pre-made cake bake.
yes.
That's true. For me, it's one ingredient. For the person who made it, it was several to get my one ingredient.
I guess it kind of falls into like what level of baker you consider yourself.
Well, I can cook just about anything or bake just about anything. You just follow a recipe. But a lot of people have trouble doing that because they don't measure correctly. Now, there's also the cake mix cookies, but I can't remember how many. I don't have the recipe in front of me, and it's been a while since we made it. Probably make it next week. So I'll know more next week.
I'm available for
and those are a whole lot better because they're baked in the oven. The cake in a mug is okay. It's kind of spongy.
The thing that I've always
it's not
like,
super good to me.
I've never been a fan of it myself because like one, you kind of ruin that mug. It takes it's gonna require a lot more to clean that mug, and like you said, it's technically cake, but it's not cake.
I don't think I've ever had one.
You don't want
it. So, my next question, I'm actually.
I don't know. You might like it because you like weird things.
Yeah, no, but I don't like.
Preview to next podcast.
The next podcast that comes out will explain that. So, Miss Marsha, have you got to drive your motorcycle?
I didn't buy the Harley. It's a Harley, but we didn't buy it to. I didn't buy it to drive, even though I have my motorcycle license. But I just like to look at it. It's really pretty. Now my husband takes rides all the time, but I told him he had to have a little bit more practice before I got on with him. But
you have your motorcycle license.
Yes.
So why don't you just drive it?
Because I just like to look at it, and I'm just not interested right now.
If you were to get another motorcycle, would you go with another Harley?
I don't know. I really like this Harley, so.
Are you okay? Now I just need a little backstory here. So you have a license. You purchased a motorcycle. You don't want to drive it. Is the license a new thing since you bought this motorcycle, or you like long-time cycle rider?
When I was 16, when I got my driver's license, I just went ahead and got my motorcycle license.
And what kind of motorcycle were you driving then?
We had Hondas and Kawasaki's or whatever. We just mainly Hondas, I think. Back then.
Whenever you took the motorcycle, got your motorcycle license, did you actually have to take a test on a motorcycle?
Yes.
How else would you take the test?
I didn't know if it was like a rubber stamp thing. Be like, if you pay an extra $15, we'll also give you the motorcycle license.
Oh, I see.
Well, we've only had the Harley a short time. One of my husband's coworkers was trying to sell it, and I just jokingly said, "I'll give you this much cash if you'll sell it to me right now." And he waited a few weeks, but he asked if I was still interested, and I said, "For this much cash, I'll do it." And then I had a motorcycle. So
there you go.
I really wasn't
that's that business degree coming into play right there. Master negotiator.
You got to be able to walk away from a deal in order to have the leverage in the deal. So I'm curious. So when you say Honda and Kawasaki, so those are more like the. Okay, I don't know if this is the proper term. My cousins used to drive those all the time. They called them crotch rockets. That they would like the kind that are like super fast, like zipping all over the place. Is that kind of motorcycle, or you're still doing the kind of like seating up?
They make those brands make traditional what you consider motorcycles.
I mean, those were motorcycles.
They are motorcycles, leaned but they're over not the traditional motorcycle.
I'm just picturing Miss Marsha now with the green leather jacket, zipping down the highway at 100 miles an hour,
doing wheelies on the interstate.
Exactly, doing wheelies. What kind of riding did you do on a motorcycle?
Well, we started out with a little 50 Honda, just driving it all over the farm, and then we got a little dirt bike, I think a 70, and rode it all over the farm. And then through the years, Dad just bought, bigger ones that they rode, but I probably have not ridden a motorcycle since probably, age 22, 23, and I'm 60 now, so it's been a long time since I've rode one.
So you're slowly reconnecting with the past.
I'm just looking at it.
All right.
All right, the next question we have is, were you a bad kid when you were younger?
No. I was a good kid. I was the old one. I knew better.
So you were the oldest?
So that is how many siblings do you have?
I had one.
Okay.
So the other one's the mess up. You're
Oh,
the
yeah.
perfect child.
Yes.
See, I'm the younger brother. I've got the older brother, so I'm already in my head defending your sibling that I don't even know anything about.
And see, and I'm the middle one, so I'm just here.
Yeah, well, I was also the middle one, but so okay. What was the age difference between you and your sibling?
3 years.
3 years. So pretty close. Were you guys like close growing up?
Yes and no. We fought a lot.
Oh yeah,
I'd
that's
say this just popped in my head because because based on that remark that I made about Parma, and you kind of like not necessarily taking offense, but you're from Parma, I'm guessing, correct?
Yes.
And so did you go to school when Parma still had a school, or did you end up having to go to Central?
Mine was the last graduating class at Parma, but I found out my family in 1980, I'm telling my age all over again, but in 1980 my family took my brother to Dexter so he could play football.
Okay.
And they moved up there, and I was just going to stay on the farm and go to classes.
You were just have a farmstead to yourself.
Yes, but around the last of September, I realized that I could graduate early. And so I transferred to Dexter, and I actually graduated in January and started college in January.
wow.
Overachiever.
Yeah. This is, I mean, it's still, we're getting the entrepreneurial, the business mind here going
Well,
on.
my husband he was a year ahead of me, and he was already at SEMO, so that was the
Hey,
reason
that
I
gives
wanted
you
to
more
go
encouragement.
early. Yeah.
Okay, so going after him there. So, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, then you joked about the MRS degree, but you say you're chasing your husband to SEMO here. So, were you guys high school sweethearts? That
From my 9th grade on.
wow, that's cool. I feel like that's more. Well, I guess maybe not around here, but more and more, it seems like a rare thing that somebody marries their high school sweetheart kind of deal. So that's cool. This is a weird transition from high school sweetheart, but quote, tell us about the time you got beat up in high school.
Oh, I never got beat up. And it wasn't in high school. Probably in junior high. There was a girl probably that didn't like me because of my dating my husband.
Because you took the dub, because you won and won the match.
Anyway, we were.
The listeners could not see this, but Mr. Norman did throw up like a W gang
threw
sign.
up the W, the Jameis Winston W.
And the reason they're asking is because when we talked about aggression and relationships and stuff in class and friends and non-friends, anyway, we went to the Lilburn. Me and my cousins went to the Lilburn skating rink. They had the wood skating rink and stuff when I was growing up. And the mama to this girl and 2 of her friends were there, and they were surrounding me. And I told the kids, I said, I grew up with all boy cousins, and we fought and wrestled and stuff all the time. So I wasn't afraid, but when that adrenaline kicked in, I just started swinging my arms, and there wasn't much of a fight. I never got hit. They might have got hit a few times, but then Mama seen her baby girl was getting got, so she come and got, and stopped it then. But I'm not sure if she would have stopped it if it would have been the other way around.
So
but
what you're saying is you didn't get beat up, you defended yourself, and the other person got beat up in the process.
And if it was still open, you're no longer allowed to go to the Lilburn skating rink.
Probably, but no, I didn't lose. I'm not sure if it was even really a fight. But they didn't scare me. I think that was a thing, and they were surprised at that.
Overall, FCCLA, if Miss Marsha suggests y'all go to a skating rink for like a field trip, I'd second guess it.
Or just bring boxing gloves. Just be prepared.
All right. My next question is, can you give a knitting tutorial?
We should have a separate podcast.
And what she teaches
is
us
the
how
sh-
to knit.
Yes. Oh, that would be hilarious.
I love to knit, but I only do 1 stitch, and I only do straight lines. So I only make scarves and afghans and pot holders and stuff like that. So if you wanted something straight and square or rectangular, yes.
Let's play prejudice here. Out of the 2 of us, who do you think would be the better knitter?
I don't know. Probably you.
I'll take it. I'll take the dub. Also,
Now, why is that? Now I got to know why.
Let's say, yeah, we first
As my archery pal, my 4th hour buddy, why would you not select me as the...
I'm just thinking he would probably be a little more patient.
That's probably true. No, that's valid.
That's weird. That's weird to hear me being described as patient. Also, in my defense, I have read a lot of essays about knitting and crocheting, so I got that going. And I've sat through a lot of demonstrative speeches on how to do it. So
She has seen my ADHD in its full swing. But, I'm gonna jump to this one because it's relevant.
okay.
So when is the orange scarf gonna be done? I don't know what this is, but this is
Okay,
a
so
student question.
every Thursday morning when I have gym duty, I'm knitting on an orange scarf. And I probably will have it done in a couple more weeks. I only knit on it on Thursdays, and so the kids get to see me, get to see it get longer and longer.
So there you go. You will find it. You'll see it happen.
That's just only special for y'all that show up to school early on Thursdays. If you want to see this supposed scarf, just come to school early, go sit in the gym, and watch Miss Marsha knit away.
And I'm standing up knitting. And we talked about the other day we might have like a quarter raffle for if anybody,
For the orange scarf.
for anybody wants to
Hey,
try to
hey,
get
I
the
might
scarf.
try to throw. No, it's orange. I can't. Never mind. I hate the color orange.
Wait. Our suggestion.
Trust me, it disgusts me. I preferred the Starry Night jar over the suggestion box. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say Emma Red can take offense to that, but we also have Madison who can take,
Pride
joy,
in that, yes.
Pride in the suggestion.
All right, my question is, which class hour is your favorite?
Fourth.
There we go.
Thank you.
That's
My prep hour.
I would say that's
Yeah.
universally that will be every teacher's favorite answer is their prep hour. Like my favorite class is third hour.
Yeah, I love it when students ask me that question and I answer with, I actually think I think you were the first person that did that around me, and then I was like, oh, that's funny, and so I stole it from you. But I went with fourth hour, and I had one kid one time literally be like, that is so mean, because they obviously weren't in fourth. That is so mean. You answered that so fast. And I was like, yep. And it took them until like a while for them to figure that out. So there's several questions on this. I'm just gonna take turn. You can ask different ones.
I'll keep pulling in the box.
Yeah. Why are you so nice?
Oh, I tell the kids all the time not to be spreading that around.
Yeah, don't tell the younger kids. They gotta think she's mean till Thanksgiving, right? That's the rule.
I don't know. All the freshmen think that I'm mean, so that works.
Yeah.
Because I am.
Yeah, exactly. It's because you are mean.
Anyway. My question is your favorite grandchild still the little girl that you FaceTimed last year during 6th hour?
I don't have a favorite grandchild.
But now I'm curious.
I'm about to say the kids are just they don't understand how the game is played.
If the grandchildren listen to this, you're all the favorite.
They are all 7.
Oh wow.
We have 7 grandchildren.
7
Okay, wait a minute. Time out. There's a whole.
I'm about to say we skipped over her kids.
Yeah. How many kids do you have?
I have 2 daughters.
Okay.
One is in Colorado. She's a ceramic engineer from Rolla when it was Rolla,
Okay.
and
It's
she's,
now Missouri S&T, by the
she's-
way, for if you wanted to know.
A lot of people still call it Raul.
Yeah.
she's married to David, who is an environmental engineer, and they moved to Colorado, and they gave me 3 grandsons, Benjamin, Jonathan, and Andrew. And then my youngest daughter, Misty, she teaches at New Madrid Elementary, and her husband, we call him Kenny P. That's what I had him in high school.
Oh, so how is that? Your son-in-law is a former student.
Yes. Yeah.
That's all she
And-
says, just yeah.
and I love him to death. But we call him Kenny P most time, except I usually call him Kenny just to aggravate. But anyway, they have 4 kids: Kimberly, Kendall, Maggie, and Miles. So they go from age 14, I think, to 4.
So you passed the test of getting all of their names without a long pause on one of them.
Yeah, my mother always trips up, and it's partly both me and my sister's fault because she named her son Kyler, and my son's name is Carter, and so my mother will spend so long just yelling Carter, Kyler, like just getting confused on that.
Oh, if we're all together, they get called the wrong name.
My little sister got called the dog's name sometimes. That was always funny. My mom was going to listen to this and be like, no, that never happened.
So to add on to this, how long have you been married?
Since 84?
84.
Yes, 84. So it'd be 38. What is that?
I keep on forgetting the 80. I forget to add in the 90s as a 10-year.
Yeah.
So 38 years?
Yeah.
I don't teach math for a reason.
Yeah. Brother Todd, if we were wrong, please comment below.
Correct.
And like and subscribe.
Yeah. So I feel like we need to do a podcast at some point that is a parenting podcast, and
she would definitely be the person we need to bring on.
Yes, we need to have her on here tell our kids stories, and you have so much experience with kids and students that this needs to happen at some point if you're willing to come back on for that. She's giving me like a oh no look, so that'll be interesting. Why do you have different desks?
We changed from the individual desks to tables. I
Okay.
think that's what they're talking about.
I assume, yeah.
Okay.
And the main reason for that is we're having hospitality tonight. We were having to swap the chairs out with tables, but then also we have sewing machines, and it really didn't work setting them on the desk.
Yeah.
So if we have the tables, and we have to lay out material to cut, and it's just a whole lot better to have the desk.
And believe it or not, the majority of your teachers would probably rather have tables than desk. I, for one, would like to have tables rather than desks, but I know. I'm just one of those people.
I don't know. My classroom would be interested with tables.
As I say, we've already covered this one, but it's just phrased so eloquently, so we're going to read it again. For Grandma Marsha, can you tell us the story about how you got jumped in high school? Thanks, Miss Marshmallow. We heart you. We've already covered that. It was just, I had to read the eloquent phrasing that student suggestion.
Marshmallow.
And I probably have told them that that's one of the things that I probably got called because my maiden name was Miller, Marsha Miller.
Oh, yeah. I can see that, yeah.
Along with bird legs and other things like that.
That was before she got her hands on those kids. These two I'm going to ask kind of together because they're both related to appliances in your room. One, quote, why is your fridge fancier than mine?
I don't know. You'd have to ask the school. They bought me brand new ones. Well, they didn't buy me, but they remodeled the room before I got here, and they're really nice. All of the appliances.
It's because you got
really
that
nice.
connection to the principal. He was like, I gotta do nice stuff for my mentor here. I gotta have it ready for her.
Well, he wasn't the principal when I came.
That's true. That's true. But he was
the
assistant.
VP.
He was assistant.
Yeah, he was
principal.
the
He was the VP. He had the ear. And then quote, are you sure your washer and dryer makes? Wait, are you? Oh no, are you aware? Are you aware your washer and dryer makes the art room stink?
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm not sure why.
I don't know if that's even true, but this person is convinced apparently that your washer. I mean, it should smell good, right? It should be like Febreze.
I don't know. Washers can have
they wash like jerseys and stuff in there, don't
No.
they? No,
they
don't.
wash
There's a
jerseys
separate
back
one?
there.
Okay,
Yeah.
well then, yeah, I don't know why that would make it stink.
And I don't use it every day.
Student, explain yourself. We don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless it was Miss Heather, then bring these hands.
Yeah, exactly. Careful. We know she's a
Yes.
fighter now.
Next question. Marsha, what made you want to always sew?
I don't know. It's just something I tried and I enjoy it. And I found out a long time ago it was easier to go buy clothes than to sew clothes, but I like to make quilts and things like that.
Yeah, shout out. She made a high quality, what do you call it? It's a square for a quilt.
A quilt that's got the
buzzer thumb for Scholar Bowl. It's the best Scholar Bowl related, art that we've seen thus far. And we actually worked it into our logo that I'm now trying to get into a shirt, but that's a whole other thing. No idea why this is a question, but quote, are you a potato?
I like potatoes. What fixed anyway? How about that?
All right, there you go. We have a Starch Madness bracket we might do on here sometime.
And maybe I'm a potato. I don't know.
Possibly. Yeah, am I a potato? Sometimes I'm a couch potato. So I guess.
All right, my next question, and Mr. Norman has the final question.
Yep.
What is your husband's name? Because they really want to steal your identity.
Yeah.
John Paul.
John Paul.
And Campbell also.
Yeah, of course. Last name was Paul.
Yeah, she just really liked the soup. That's why she changed her maiden name from Miller to Campbell.
Yep. And what is FCCLA? So you get to go out on a commercial here.
Family, Career, Community Leaders of America. It's an organization that gets families and community more involved, and it's the club that goes along with facts.
You get a red blazer.
Yes.
Yeah, see those up on the wall out here, the little names on the blazers.
I have a question then. Do you have to be taking a facts class to be a member of FCCLA?
You had to, I don't have freshmen, so they don't have the opportunity to take my class their freshman year. So if you have had one of my classes in 8th grade, or you've had one of my classes in any other year, or you're going to be in my class next semester, you can
So
take
you
mine.
so you have to
become
take-
FCCLA member.
So you have to take at least one facts class, and then you're grandfathered in for the rest of your high school existence to FCCLA.
Yes, you just have to pay dues every year.
Okay. And also, y'all have competitions, I believe, and y'all have district meetings. So
Yes, yes.
What is an FCCLA competition like? Out of curiosity,
are you cooking stuff? Are you designing stuff? Like, what is happening?
Well, there's a lot more classes that are in facts besides what I do. There's culinary, and I don't do culinary. I just have a nutrition and wellness class. And I tell my kids, this is not a cooking class. You are here to learn other stuff. It's just the benefit of being in here. But there's
it is a bug, not a feature.
but just there's parliamentary procedures. There's I don't know, anything that you would have in Skills USA, or you would have an FBLA poster competitions.
So it's a
t-shirt
nice
competitions.
hybrid between those two.
Yes, and
Okay.
this is just my second year, and we have not actually competed yet. There's students talking about it this year, but we're still working on that. I hope that we get to go to a couple of places where they are competing, so they can see. But we need some bus drivers to come and start driving here, not me.
I was going to say, careful what you say after you've admitted on this
so
podcast.
that we can take more trips where the
So you could start building the monster that will be your
Yes.
unstoppable FCCLA competition ruining machine, or not ruining, but accomplishing machine.
Yeah,
yes.
taking dubs.
That will ruin the competition.
Yes, ruin the competition. So, do you have any final notes that you want to share with us here? We're gonna have you back now. We've got. There's other things that we can ask you. There's all kinds of things that we started that I feel like we need to dig the rabbit holes a little more. But do you have any final thoughts for our listeners, all the students who submitted the questions or in your class?
I really like it here. I really liked it at New Madrid County. I liked the people I worked with, and a lot of the students in Virginia. I didn't like it as well, but I really like it here. The kids are great. They show a lot of respect. They show a lot of manners. The majority of them do their work, and it's just a really pleasant place to work.
All right. Well, until next time, my name's been Paul Davidson.
My name is, and Lord willing, will be Scott Norman.
And this has been Marsha Campbell, and we've been two
Dumb wise guys and a wise lady.